Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Philip Friday Live. I've invited a few people to come in, so just want to give people a little bit of time. So, have a few people inboxing and texting, trying to figure out how to get in. So, I'm just going to take some time and send some responses. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. If you are watching live, thank you so much for watching. And if you are catching the replay, we really appreciate it. Let me see if I can send some invites. Hey, I see someone popped on. As you pop in, please say hello. Let us know that you are watching and let us know where you are watching from. If this is your first time, then welcome. I know that you will enjoy tonight. Hey, everybody. I see some folks coming on. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to tag a few people that asked for the link. And then we are going to get started. Did you guys have a good week? Let me know in the comments. And again, if this is your first time, let us know. All right, so you guys, if it's your first time watching, my name is Mrs. J Spire. I'm the host of the Jspirations Live Show. And every Friday night, we do a segment called Fill Up Friday Live. And with Fill Up Friday Live, we come on to support each other, to talk about what our week was like, to talk about what we filled up on. If we were running on empty, kind of talk about what we may need. So I hope that you guys filled up this week. I filled up and I cannot wait to talk with you guys about it. But I want to give our Fill Up Friday faithfuls a little bit of time to come in. Again, if you're new here, let us know. We want to welcome you. And if you are catching us live, then welcome. If you're catching a replay, thank you so much for doing so. So I'm just going to start off tonight by just talking a little bit about some things that we've been talking about over January and starting in February. Last month, we had a segment that we were talking about change your language and change your life. And I don't know about you guys, but it really touched me. Honestly, I don't know where it came from. I always tell you guys that I don't post or I don't say anything that God has not given me to share about. I try to be really intentional about what we share here on Jspirations Live because we want to make sure that it's purposeful. We want to make sure that you guys are really getting something. And so we appreciate you spending time with us. But we talked about just changing your language and it will change your life. And I tell you, this week, that really spoke to me. And the way that I started my week, the way that I started my day, just by giving myself some words of encouragement, trying to motivate myself and just giving myself some affirmations. We talked about that as well, how important it is to affirm yourself and not to wait for or look for anyone else to affirm you. So I had a situation this week where I kind of thought about a person that I interact with, and every time I interact with this person, it's like it's something negative. Like this person can never say anything good about other people or tell you that you've done something good, you've done something great. They always say you didn't do this right, or you could have done this better. And I thought about that and I was like, why is this person like this? And then I had to start just speaking life into myself and saying that, I don't need a pat on the back. I don't need anyone to tell me that I did something good. But sometimes it feels good, right? Sometimes it gives the warm and fuzzies. Sometimes it builds confidence. It encourages you and it motivates you. But I really started thinking about how I can just really speak that into myself, and how can you guys speak that into yourself. And starting to think about that, it was this calmness that came over me this week, that anytime I started to get a little agitated, I got a little aggravated, frustrated with someone or with something, I just really stopped. Right? I stopped and I calmed myself down. I calmed myself down by speaking life into myself, by changing my language, by instead of complaining, I just started thanking God for all the good things that was happening in my life, all the good things that's happening in my family, the things that are happening in my career, just life in general. And sometimes when we start being thankful, we are looking for like these I don't know, material things or these big things to say that we're thankful about. But, this week I just started thinking about, just what I have, that I have peace, right? That I love myself, that I have all the basic things that I need. And so I just started to calm down and think about those things every time something tried to jump up on me or get into my space. And so tonight I want to talk about calmness. I want to talk about the importance of it, and I want to talk about what it brings, because as I started to calm myself down this week, I was able to reflect, right? And so being able to reflect, I started to have more conversations with God. And if you guys know me personally, you know that I love a telephone, right? And I love talking and I love interacting. But this week, there was a calmness that came over me that it even made me decrease the amount of time that I spent on the phone talking to people. And so this week I was, everywhere that usually when I get in the car and I'm driving, I want to call somebody and I want to talk about something. So I want to say thank you to everybody who didn't answer any of my calls this week, right? Because it kept giving me time to spend time with myself and to spend time with God. And so this week, being so calm, I started talking to God about things that I desire. Right. And I started speaking out into the atmosphere with such boldness that I actually got a phone call about something that I was talking to God about. And I wasn't shocked because it's God, right? And I know He can do anything, but I was shocked because it happened so fast. But it helped to build my faith and it helped to build my confidence. And I just started thinking, if I'm like this all the time, if I'm just calm and just patient and just listening and hearing God's voice, there is nothing that I can't do. There is nothing or nobody that can stop me. Although most of the time it's us stopping ourselves, like we'll put it on the enemy or we'll put it on other people. But the enemy nor other people, they can't stop what God has for us, right? They can't stop what God has for you. So it's usually you, right, that's stopping things from happening in your life because we're walking in frustration all the time. We are aggravated all the time. We're agitated. We're complaining all the time. We're talking to other people, and other people have our ear, right? And we have theirs. We're allowing so much to come into our lives and into our space. And we talked about capacity as well on this show. And so knowing our capacity. So sometimes we don't know our capacity. So we just keep taking things. We take it from ourselves and then we take it from other people. And so when we're doing that, there's no way that we can be calm. And so that's why this week I am so thankful that I had the opportunity just to sit with myself. And I think last week or week before last, we talked about how sometimes sitting with our own thoughts, it can be uncomfortable, right? We know that it can be uncomfortable, but it's been happening for me week after week after week where I've just had to sit in my thoughts. And being uncomfortable, it's caused me to be calm. Being uncomfortable has caused me to reflect. Being uncomfortable has caused me to really listen to the voice of the Lord, right? And so this week I just want to encourage you to change your language and change your life. I want to encourage you to walk in calmness regardless of what people are doing around you. regardless of what people are saying, regardless of how people are complaining, regardless of how, people are maybe even saying negative things to you, or they're telling you what you're doing wrong. They're not giving you any motivation or any encouragement or any support. That's okay. We have to learn to encourage and motivate ourselves, even when we're in spaces where people are being negative, right? Where people are maybe even speaking down to you. Like, we rebuke that in the name of Jesus, because we know that we believe what God says about us. We believe who God says that we are. So this week, going forward from today on, I encourage you to walk in calmness, walk in patience. And when we do that, I promise you, God will show up. And I know it's a cliche when people say it, but God will show up and he will show out. And that is exactly what he has done for me this week. He has just given me the peace. He's given me understanding, because I wasn't able to understand what was happening around me because I was so frustrated. I was complaining so much about what was going on and what was happening and what people were doing and what they were not doing. And this week, I learned to mind my own business, right? And so sometimes when we talk about minding our own business, we're talking about, people that are gossiping, or people that like getting in your, like, in your space, getting in your business. When I say learn how to mind my own business, what I'm talking about is just focusing on what God has for me, focusing on what my purpose is here on this earth, because we can't control what other people do. We can't control how they do it. We can't control when they do it. The only thing that we're in control of is ourselves. And we're actually not in control of that, because God is in control. He's in charge. Of course, he gives us free will. But in order for us to really to be nourished, in order for us to really flourish, we have to walk in the calling that God has on our lives, and we have to be obedient, and we have to listen to him, because otherwise it's gonna, not gonna say that you're not gonna be successful, but it's not gonna have longevity, right? It's not gonna last. So I encourage you again. I know I'm repeating it, but I'm encouraging you again to walk in patience. I'm encouraging you to walk in calmness. When you walk in calmness, your heart is going to be open, your mind is going to be open, your eyes are going to be open, and you are going to be able to receive exactly what God has for you. I see a couple people, that popped on that know me personally. And so, Wanda's on here and Paula's on here, and say they know that I can go from 0 to 1,000 quickly, right? When something really gets on my mind, or I'm having a conversation about, I can't believe that this person is doing this, and I can't believe that they're doing that. And sometimes I do need to get it off of my chest, right? But what I'm saying is that I'm not allowing it to consume me anymore. Right? I may talk to Paula this weekend, and I may tell her kind of what got all of this started and what started making me think this way, right? So we're going to have a conversation. But the thing about it is, there was a lesson in it, and I learned it, right? And then she's going to keep me accountable, as I continue to go through the situation, because it's going to happen again, right? Because that person's heart is just like that. And so I have to pray for that person. I have to be bold in who God has called me to be. But I have to be calm, right? I can't get frustrated, and I can't react. I can't respond to it. I just have to let it be what it is. And I can't let that person or that situation change me. And see, that's the thing. We and I said, I know I've said it before. I've said, that person got me out of my square. That person caused me to get out of myself. No, it's not that person. You allow yourself to get out of it. You allow yourself to act out of character. And honestly, most of the time when we're doing something, we're not acting out of character. We're being exactly who we are. It's just that we know it, but the world may not know it yet. And so that's where we have to make that change, where we have to like intentionally change the way that we do things, intentionally change the way that we think. We have to change our mindset. We're not perfect. And so we do have those imperfections. We do have those things that we do that's not right, where we're not making good choices. We're not saying the correct things. We're not doing the right things. But the first step in doing that is acknowledging that we need to do something different. And so I had to acknowledge this week that I had to do something different. So when I woke up on Monday morning, I said, you know what? I'm going to have a good day. And then Tuesday, I said, I'm going to have a good day. And then Wednesday, I said, I'm going to have a good day. I spoke it. And then Thursday, something happened that triggered just a little bit, right? And so honestly, I didn't say I'm going to have a good day. I started complaining about what happened. I started complaining about what that person said, but I had to stop myself and say, no, all week you've been walking in patience. All week you've been walking in calmness. You've been talking to God. He's been giving you the answers that you need. And now it's Thursday and you're going to get frustrated and start complaining. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep walking in who we are, right? And so continue to walk in who you are. I speak calmness over your life today because I'm definitely speaking calmness over my life right now. And I'm telling you, you guys, with walking in that calmness this week, things just started to happen. Don't worry about what's going on around you. I know you guys have heard this quote where people say, or this saying that says, the calm before the storm. Right? We're not claiming that. We're claiming that we are just walking in we're walking in calmness. And listen, if you want to say it like this, you are the storm. Right? And when I say that, I mean if you're walking in what God has caused you to do, they can't stop you. So you are the storm. So don't think that it's the calm before the storm. No, we're not claiming any storm. We're just saying that we're going to walk in calmness. We're going to be who God has called us to be, and we're going to keep moving. So I love you guys. I see there are a couple people on here. If you wanted to share what you filled up on this week, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments. I filled up on calmness, and I'm telling you, it felt so good. I slept well this week. I felt good. I looked good when I walked out of the house. And it's because I didn't allow anything to come into my space. I almost let Thursday, break me out a little bit, but then I had to pull myself back in and I had to remember who I am. And that's what you have to do. You have to constantly remind yourself who you are and who you belong to and who you are in Him. So speak those things, that you're the head, you're not the tail, you're the lender and you're not the borrower. Whatever is going on in your life, and I know sometimes when we say lender and borrower, I know people think about money, but I don't always think about that. I think about if I'm the lender and not the borrower, it's so many things that we can sow into people. And it's not just money, right? We have to have the fruit of the Spirit, right? And so we have to be sowing into people all the time. And then we have to surround ourselves with people who are going to also sow those things into us. Right. So Wanda said, I filled up on God's faith and energy. So Wanda, you want to elaborate on that a little bit and tell us what that means, like what that means to you? What was happening this week, or was there a situation that caused you to really need to fill up on that? Because the situation that was happening with me this week, I needed to fill up on that calmness, because actually at some point I felt like I was ready to explode, and I was like, it's not so. We will not be reacting. We will not be responding to that. It's minimal, right? And it doesn't deserve any space in my life. There's so many other things that I needed to fill up on. There's so many other things that I needed to do. All right, so I love you guys. I know there's a bunch of people on here. I can see people watching. It must be some new folks that have not been on Fill Up Friday before. So again, I welcome you and thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back here next week at 8 o'clock p.m. With a different topic, a different conversation. Also want to let you guys know that we are working on another in-person event. Our event in January was so amazing, poetry and pastries. And so we're just working to bring more content. We are working to bring more guests. We have a few things that we're working on, and we're excited about what's going to happen in 2023. This is the year of walking in wisdom and walking in expectation and walking in vision and walking in preparation. So that's what we are doing. And it all comes together because when we walk in wisdom, we're going to be calm. And that's because we're walking in God's wisdom. We're making good choices and we're doing the right thing. So we'll always tell you guys, make sure you are taking some time over the weekend to practice some self-care. There's nothing too small, whether it's washing your hair, whether it's spending some quiet time alone to reflect. It could be taking a longer shower, taking yourself to breakfast, going to breakfast with someone that you love, but just do something that makes you feel good this weekend. Do something that fills you up so that you can prepare for the week. Wherever you're going the rest of this weekend or starting your work week, we want to go in full, right? We want to go in full of all the things that we need to be who God called us to be. And we have to represent Christ, here on earth. So when we go into our job, when we go into the stores, wherever we go, we are representing him. And so we have to do it well. And honestly, I don't always do it well. And so I'm just always asking God just to lead me and guide me. I know he's going to do that. And then I'm asking him to help me be intentional about doing the work that he has called me to do. So I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of the night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys right back here next Friday at 8 o'clock. And as always, be J-Spired.